Welcome and thank you for joining me. I'm Jackie Dominus, just in case we have not met yet. But I've been looking forward to taping this sequence for you for a really long time. So it's something that I do at night to unwind after a long day or in the morning just to open up my body. So it gets into your hips, your hamstrings, and it opens up the chest a little bit. So you might need a couple blocks of strap just depending on your body. But it's a nice sequence that I don't even think we're going to stand up the whole time, so I hope you enjoy it. The first thing that we're going to do, let's go ahead and just start in a child's pose to get you comfortable getting out of your head and into your body as best you can, really. Sometimes that's hard anytime, but just go ahead and take your forehead down onto the mat. Go ahead and nice and gently let your knees widen. If your hips are tighter, you might be up here, you might need to tuck your toes, have your hands forward. That's no big deal at all. Some of you might get a little closer to the heels and just settle the forehead onto the mat. Your arms stretch straight forward. If you're having any tension in the shoulders, you can always, what I've been doing lately is taking one palm on top of the other and just resting my forehead on the palms. But I want you to take a really deep breath in through your nose. And then exhale through your mouth. And then try that again. Big inhale. And then big, big exhale. And then one more time, big, big inhale. See if you can feel even the back of the body. Feel the rib cage expand. Get longer through your torso. And then exhale, see if you can just let go. Let go of anything that was happening during the day, any expectations of what might happen if it's in the morning. Just see if you can be present on your mat. And try your best to just stay with your breath. So breathing in and out through the nose if possible. If you took a different hand position, then just having your hands stretched forward, just go ahead and walk both hands straight forward about the distance of your shoulders, and then again relax the head down toward your mat and just have your elbows off the floor. Push through the palms, get a nice stretch there in the back, waddle shoulders from side to side here, and then just come up onto all fours. And then we'll just melt the heart. Inhale, look up toward the ceiling, just a couple rounds for the spine. Exhale, big round press, chin towards your chest. And then again, inhale, lengthen, look up. And big exhale, round. And then inhale one last time, look up. And big, big exhale, round. Hug the belly back toward the spine, chin toward your chest, push through your palms, and then just release that down. We're gonna come into a brief downward dog, but if downward dog's too much for you, you just push back into child's pose. Okay, otherwise downward dog, you're going to take your hands, one hand print forward, still shoulders distance apart, tuck those toes under, and then for a moment just lift your knees a couple inches off the floor and push your hips back toward your heels. Drop your head so your ears are in between your biceps, and then go ahead and work on extending your legs towards straight. And towards straight is relative. Everybody's going to be different. You might have hamstrings that are a bit on the stiff side. Keep your knees bent. Bend your right knee nice and deeply. Press your left heel down. Straighten that leg, then switch your sides. And walk the dog out a little bit. Shift the hips from side to side. And then all I'm going to have you do here is just walk your feet forward. So no jumping, just walk your feet, top of your mat. It might take you a little, couple steps to get forward. Knees can be bent for sure. Feet hip distance apart, and just fold forward over the legs. And do a little rocking between the heels, the toes. Some of you might have a little bit more generous bend in the knees. That's good. Just let the spine realign. This is a really great pose for bringing some blood to the brain, to the face, to re-energize you. Some of you might even take opposite hand to elbow, or even start to straighten the legs. But again, nothing too extreme. We're winding down, not pushing to your edge. And then you're going to release your hands down toward the floor, bend both knees. I want you to take a big step back with your left foot. So far back,
You might even come onto the toes and wiggle those toes back. Come onto the knee. You want to make sure you're not on your kneecap, because that will not feel very comfortable. And if you're on a hard floor, you might have to double fold your mat and put your knee up there or take a towel. But I want you to take your fingertips to the floor. You can always use your blocks if needed, and I want you to sink your hips down and forward, and then push through your fingertips or your blocks and lift your heart up. You should feel a nice deep stretch in the front side of that left thigh. It should feel so good. Take another deep breath here into that space. And exhale, just soften a little bit. Good. And then from here, take your hands onto your right thigh. So you're going to push your torso away from that thigh. Stay here or stretch your left arm straight up toward the ceiling. So big reach and stretch up, and you're going to lean over to the right a little bit. Keeping that right hand on the thigh or toward your waist. And then if you've been doing this for a while, you might even stretch your fingertips down toward the floor, but don't let the torso come forward if you're doing that. You want to keep the torso upright, keep that bend in the front knee. Take an inhale. As you exhale, draw your belly toward your spine and then stretch your right arm up toward the ceiling or take it to that front thigh. Exhale, take your hands down toward the floor, tuck your back toes under, and then you're going to draw your belly in to protect your back, so you step forward. Good, and then let's look up halfway. You can take your hands to your shins, and then exhale, fold over the legs. Bend your knees as much as needed. Step back with your right foot this time. So big step back, right foot. You come onto that right knee and adjust so you're off of the kneecap again. Adjusting your blocks if you're using those, or fingertips to the floor. Melt down through your hips. Draw your heart forward. Ooh, it should feel so good. You might notice a difference between your right and your left side. I definitely do here. My right side usually tighter. And you just want to breathe into that and take your hands to your thigh. Sink down, right arm stretches up toward the ceiling. Really lengthen, stretch up. And again, hand to the waist, lean over, or take the fingers to the floor. Take a couple deep breaths. The gaze can be straight forward, even down toward the mat if you're having any neck problems, or even up toward the ceiling. Do what feels nice for the body, and then draw the belly in to stretch your arms up or hands to the front thigh. Exhale, hands down toward the mat. Again, you're going to step forward, so you tuck your back toes under. Step forward, lengthen, look forward. And then exhale, fold. So your feet should be about hip distance apart. If they're not, go ahead and walk them there. Maybe widen them a little bit. Turn your toes out, heels stay in, and then just bend your knees. You're going to come into a squat. So it's a lot of my clients' favorite pose, and it's one of my favorite poses for sure. So depending on your ankles, you might be up on your toes. Totally fine. Keep your fingertips on the floor for support. You might even roll up your mat or put a blanket underneath to make it a little bit more restorative, a little bit more helpful for you. Eventually, or never, it just depends on your body. You might drop your heels down to the ground. But I do want you to walk your hands forward today and let your hips sink as close to the ground as you can get them. And then just take your chin toward your chest. So round your spine. Good. And then from there, you're going to walk your hands back up. Keep your legs, draw your elbows wide, press your palms together. And then try to lift your sternum, your heart toward your thumbs. Good. And feel that elbows pushing toward the inner thighs pushing toward the elbows, so you're opening up through the hips and the groin, the inner thighs. Take one more deep breath. Lift through the crown of the head. As you exhale, release your hands to the floor. You're going to straighten your legs. You can keep your toes turned out just till you're about there to the top, and then turn them forward. Inhale, lengthen, look forward. And then exhale, fold. You're going to take a big step back with your left foot again. So big step back, left foot. Come on to that left knee. This time, you're going to straighten your front leg. Start to walk your hands back. And you want your back hip almost on top of your back knee. You might go a little bit further back, so tendency is to come all the way back, but I don't want you to do that. I want you to be up a little bit, the legs straight. You're going to flex the foot. Again, blocks really nice here if you feel like really far away from your leg. And I want you to push your right heel into the mat and feel from the heel all the way up into your hip socket, energy move in that direction, a stretch. So stay here with the hands, or take your left hand, just encourage that right foot back. Try to get lots of length in the spine. Very nice. And then I want you to just release that. Bend into your front knee. As you're bending into your front knee, walk your right hand on the inside of that right foot and walk your right foot so your pinky toe and your heel touch the right side of your mat. Okay? So really long. Again, if you're on your back knee, wiggle that back knee away from the front of your mat again and keep your right heel on the mat but turn your toes off of your mat. Okay? So it's called lizard pose. So you're going to stay right here on your hands. You might even take blocks. You want to one step deeper, your forearms can come to a block, or your left forearm can come down, your right arm can stay straight, or both forearms might come down. I want you to keep, instead of tendency to look down at the body, I want you to look forward, so encourage the length of your heart and your chest. You should feel pretty groovy stretch there in the right hip. Maybe even sway the hips from side to side. Generally like that rocking action. Just encourage that movement. Opening space. Make sure you're still breathing. Okay, and then you're going to come back down the middle. Okay, so you might stay on your forearms, but I recommend trying to come up on to your hands first. Take your right hand, so I'm away from the camera here, but right hand's going to come on your right thigh, not your knee, and I want you to look up and over your right shoulder toward the ceiling. Again, feeling that stretch move in the front of the left hip. You might even start to open on the pinky toe side of your right foot, and that's if you don't have any SI joint pain. And if you know you do, you keep that foot planted on the mat. Some of you, last little bit, this is just an extra touch. You might bend that back heel in toward you. It might feel ridiculous to do that, and like my body won't do that, so skip it. Take your right hand to your back thigh, maybe pull a little knee in toward your body, and then exhale, release. Take both hands down toward your mat. To get out of here, you're going to heel toe that right foot back so it's in line with your hip. The right hand comes on the outside of the foot. Tuck your back toes under, step forward. Woo, top of the mat. Lengthen, look forward, and then exhale, fold. So we'll just stay in the fold for a moment. I want you to bend your knees a little bit. Take your hands, palms facing up underneath the feet. So make sure that you're actually stepping on the palms of the hands, not just the fingers, because then it doesn't feel very good and you're not going to get the stretch we want for the palms of the hands. So if you've been at the computer, it's really nice to open up the palms. So knees can be bent, lengthen the spine, and then exhale, fold over those thighs. Give your wrist a little massage with the toes. It might feel very awkward if this is the first time you've ever done this, but just bear with me, breathe. And then release the hands from the feet. Lengthen, look up so hands can come to the shins or stay on the floor. And then exhale, big step back with your right foot. Wiggle the right toes back so you come off the kneecap, but you're on the knee. Kind of more forward of the knee toward the quad. And then from here, you're going to stretch that front leg straight. So you start to straighten the left leg, the right hip now on top of the right knee. Come up into the fingertips or grab your blocks. And then make even that quadricep really strong. If you did on the other side, you take your right hand to your left foot, pull it back, breathe. Just notice if you can relax somewhere. So if you can let go of the struggle, just breathe into your beautiful body. Just let it relax. Let it open. And from here, release that. Go ahead and take your hands back to the ground. You're going to bend your front knee, walk your left hand on the inside of your left foot, and heel toe that left foot so your pinky toe and your heel are touching the mat. Keeping the heel on, turn the toes off. Stay on the hands just for the beginning of it, so you can just invite the opening of the hips without pushing into it. Good, and just deep breaths. I think you can always go deeper. You don't want to go too deep and then be like, whoops, and get injured. You want to go slow. I find when I go slow, sometimes I even get deeper in the pose. If I just take my time. So you come on a forearm, the right one this time first, and then the left. If you like to sway right to left, Definitely take advantage and do that on the other side as well. Okay. I want you to take 2 more deep breaths. Again, keeping the crown of the head, lifting forward. And then from here, staying on the forearms. If you know you can stay that low. Otherwise, just come on the hands. Let the ego out of it. So we're just breathing into the body. No expectations here. Just left hand to your left thigh. Encourage the opening there. Again, not pushing on the knee. Open it through the heart. If you need to go on the forearms, go on the forearm. That right hand. You need more of a stretch. Now bending that back knee. Ooh, you might feel that quad. See what happens if you reach that hand back behind. Pull in if that's appropriate for your body. And then slowly release. Hands come to the mat. You're going to start to walk that left foot in. Okay. Tuck your back toes under, straighten your back leg, and again step forward. Top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen, look forward. And fold over your legs, fold forward. Okay. From here, I want you to keep your feet hip distance apart. One more time, you're going to turn the toes out, bend your knees, sit back into this squat called Malasana. And this time, just again, draw the elbows and the inner knees, press the palms together just for a beat. And then exhale, take your hands to the floor, and you're going to just as slow as you can, I want you to come all the way down to take a seat on your butt. And it might not feel graceful, but let it go. Smile. It's part of the practice. I want you to sit back. So I'm going to turn toward you so you can see what I'm doing, but you can stay straight forward on your mat. I want you to take the bottoms of your feet together for Baddha Konasana, or butterfly position. So bottoms of the feet together, knees out toward the sides. And I always really like to take my hands behind my back and then open your heart and your chest. Give some expansion there. Imagine the back of the heart pushing forward. The gaze can be up to the ceiling. Close the eyes even. Just imagine the knees just melting toward the mat. Good, and then exhale, just release out of that. Now taking your hands to your feet, I want you to walk your feet forward, and they're going to come into a diamond shape with the legs. So you're going to walk your feet far enough forward, but the bottoms of your feet are still together. You're going to lengthen through the spine, and you're going to come forward over the legs. Big opening through the hips again. So what's nice here, you can stack your fists to take your forehead down, or you can take your block. This is another really nice one if you have your block nearby, or a pillow even, to let your head just relax on something. So it's very soothing for the body to have that relaxation. Your hands can go wherever is comfortable. Just take a big breath in, back of the body. Big breath out. You can inhale. And exhale. One more inhale. And exhale. And then from here, just making your way out with no rush at all. Just walking back in. I want you to pull your left heel in and then your right. So you can just do easy cross with the legs, okay? Indian style, easy cross. Another option here is have your left shin parallel to the top of the mat. You're going to take your right ankle over your left knee and stack the ankle over your knee. And you should have your shins stacked on top of each other. Okay, so you're sitting up nice and tall, so either right shin on front of the left or ankle over shin. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale, stretch your arms up toward the ceiling. Turn your palms inside out. Interlace your fingers and then press and reach. Stretch up. Good. And then exhale, release your hands. You're going to come into a fold. Fold forward, come down. Lengthen through the top of the head. And you might not, as I say this and I fold forward, if that feels
uncomfortable and not right for your body, you just stay upright. Take one more deep breath. Inhale, come all the way up. Stay in the position with the legs. Take your left hand to your right knee. Take your right hand behind the body. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale. And as you exhale, just twist toward your right. Just a little gentle twist here for your spine. Just unraveling. One more deep breath in. And exhale. Go ahead and look back forward. Inhale first, and then unwind with the body. And then just pause there, hands on the thighs for a moment, just to let the echo of the pose resonate. And then go ahead and release it out. Okay, so you're going to take that right heel in, maybe just cross. Do the same thing you did on the other side. So left shin in front, if your right shin was in front. Or stacking here, taking the ankle over the knee. Okay, so Indian style or fire log pose. Okay, and sit up nice and tall. Inhale, keep flexing that left foot toward your knee to protect your hip here. Okay, hint of a smile on the face. Let's inhale, stretch your arms up toward the ceiling, interlace the fingers. Lift your palms up toward the ceiling as you melt through the ribs. Lower ribs melt toward your waist. Biceps move toward your ears. And then exhale, fold forward. Make your way forward and down. Our hands just come by your hips and you stay upright if you feel a stretch. So avoid comparing yourself with others. Because you don't know how long that person has done yoga. You don't know their past experiences. The only person that I want you to pay attention to is you. And don't even the you in this present moment. So try not to look at you 5 years ago or 10 years ago, where you think you should be. Because the place where you are, and that is completely perfect, is right here. Come all the way back up. So sit up nice and tall. You're going to take that right hand to your left thigh. Left arm behind you. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale. And then exhale. Go ahead and twist towards your left. Keep drawing your right waist back away from your toes. Lifting up through the heart. Just take another inhale. You're going to stay there as you exhale. And then look forward, inhale. And then exhale, release. And then go ahead and unwind the legs. Stretch them straight forward in front of you for a moment. Shake them out. And then I want you just to cross. Just find a comfortable seated position. Keep your hands on top of your heart. So one palm on top of the other. Bow your chin for a moment and just say thank you to yourself. You took this time to open up the body, to breathe, to stretch, to get on your mat. And then finally here, draw the palms in front of your heart. Namaste. So I hope you enjoyed the practice. I really appreciate you for spending this time with me and, more importantly, taking this time for yourself. So keep coming back, and if you have any questions, you can always email me at jackie@embrace-wellbeing.com, and make sure to hop onto the website jackiedominus.com and sign up for email updates so you never miss a video or my recipes or health tips. All right, we'll talk to you very soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.